What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So let me ask you guys something. Are you one of the people that come through this channel because you've seen this video pop up? Maybe you were doing a search on Google or just through YouTube itself to try to find a video about a certain running shoe and you just happen to come across one of my videos? Well, if you haven't clicked that subscribe button, I would like to encourage you to go ahead and do so right now. That way, what it does is it helps me reach out to a broader audience. It also tells me what you guys are enjoying out there on YouTube. But also giving this video a thumbs up will also help the YouTube algorithms so that this video, as well as all of my other content, can also reach a broader audience here on YouTube. So it greatly helps me out. And this content, listen, it's something that I enjoy doing for all of you, and it doesn't cost you guys anything to go ahead and click that subscribe button, but it just helps me out, and I would appreciate it in all of my heart if you guys would do so if you haven't done so already. So right now, we're gonna get into this shoe that I'm a little late to the game on, I'm not gonna lie. The shoe's been out for well over a year, but there was a lot of hype around this shoe. And I finally got my hands on it because I was able to pick it up on a discount and figured I would give it a go. So we are going to today talk about the Hoka Mach 4. Now, everybody else has kind of done a video on stats and features, so I'm not going to go into like incredible detail on this shoe, so that way it makes it kind of quick. But I'll go through some like basic stuff on this shoe and how it's really been working for me, some of the things that I like and dislike about this shoe over the miles that I put into it. Now, the shoe only has about 30 miles in it, so haven't quite gotten it to 50 miles, but I think I have a good idea of where this shoe fits, what it's really good for, all that kind of stuff. So let's get into it. So the upper here is a basic engineered kind of mesh upper. It does have a gusseted tongue. It's not really a padded tongue, but it's a nice thick material that lays on top of the foot really well. You got a really long eyelet chain with a lot of lace loops on here, so you can really kind of customize that lockdown, that comfort over the midfoot. But I do have to say that even as it just sat right out of the box, I mean, it was just absolutely fantastic. Breathability wise, it's in that moderate to more breathable range. So it's not like a race shoe breathable, but it's definitely in that moderate range where it doesn't really get too hot on those hot days, but it also doesn't get too cold on those cold days. So it's kind of a happy medium right there. Something that I really like about this shoe. And again, the midfoot lockdown is absolutely fantastic. The comfort of this upper is off the scales. So the things that I like about it, I do like this heel counter that's back here. It is just, the whole thing is fantastic. The padding is absolutely perfect. I love that heel flare that's back here. It really just kind of like, I don't know, it's like a pillow or a cushion for the Achilles tendon back there. So it's just super comfortable as you're rolling through your stride. But yeah, the upper is just fantastic. One of the best parts that I think about this shoe is the upper and the upper fitment. It is so super comfortable. It locks down super well. You feel totally secure in this shoe. It's definitely an A+ on the upper on this shoe. And I know the Mach 5 is supposed to be even better than this one. Now going to the midsole, we have a dual density midsole foam here where we have ProFly foam on top, which is a kind of a softer, slightly bouncier midsole foam. And then underneath, so this cream colored layer that's underneath here is a rubberized EVA. So it's a little bit firmer, it's a little bit stiffer. It's not, you know, it's not a super cushion type of material, and it's kind of a good thing because it absorbs impacts really well, but it's not squashy. Like, you don't feel like you want to sink into it like some of the other Hoka shoes that are out there with that compression molded EVA that they use. This has definitely got that responsiveness to it, which is, you know, really nice if you want to do some quick turnovers. We'll get into that here in just a second. But the stack height's on it, 24 millimeters of stack height in the forefoot. You got 29 millimeters of stack height in the heel. Oh, I'm sorry, 28 millimeters. Yeah, 29. It's 29 millimeters. I'm sorry. Something was messing with my mind there, but yeah, 24 millimeters in the forefoot, 29 millimeters in the heel for a 5 millimeter offset. So pretty standard for Hoka type shoes. They typically hang around that 5 millimeter offset. Now you do have a very wide platform here. Again, something that is typical Hoka here. A lot of their shoes have a wide platform from the heel all the way through to the forefoot. So it really doesn't like choke up here in the midfoot region like a lot of other shoes do. So it's a very stable ride. Something that is very nice about this shoe is just it's a very stable ride. And even when you look on top, you can actually see where it flares out on the medial side and the lateral side to give you a nice, comfortable ride. You do get a little bit of that swallowtail flare here on the back, and I guess that's supposed to help with energy dispersion or something, from what I read when they started doing the swallowtail type things here. It's supposed to help with energy dispersion when you're landing more in that heel area, to again give you a little bit more comfort as you're running. And then some of this foam also is kind of a cradle to again aid in some of the stability. So like where you see the foam kind of coming up the side right here is just kind of like a guide rail system to help you stay on a forward path. Going underneath, again, exposed EVA, rubberized EVA underneath. And it's kind of nice because it keeps the shoe really light, which is fantastic. And it allows because there's a lack of rubber, it doesn't get, the ride doesn't get dampened by the rubber that's underneath the shoe. So you really get to feel what this midsole foam is doing. It's not getting dampened by any rubber that's underneath, so you can really get a feel for that ground contact and that roll through your stride. It also has some flexibility to it as well. So I mean, overall, it's actually pretty nice. Now the downside to this, which is a part of the things that I don't like about this shoe, the downsides to this is the longevity of the shoe is compromised without any rubber on this outsole here. So in the forefoot area right here, it's already kind of frayed and already looks like some of the textured areas are worn down, and that's after 30 miles. Again, I'm a heavier runner that runs on a lot of really abrasive pavement. So I already knew going into this that my shoes were going to get chewed up. And that's indicative of some of the other Hoka shoes that I ran in, mainly the Cliftons that I had. And it kind of did the same thing, where in that exposed EVA area, it just got chewed up. So I kind of expect it on this shoe. Just wasn't expecting it to be this quick, especially with it being rubberized EVA, but it is what it is. And yeah, so the things that I like about this shoe is its versatility. So you can use this shoe for pretty much just about any type of run. In fact, if I was doing a 5K or a 10K race, I would definitely consider this shoe, because you don't really need to have a carbon plated racing shoe for those 5K to 10K distances. But of course, there are shoes out there like the Takumi Sen 8 and the Streak Fly, the Nike Streak Fly, that are dedicated 5 to 10K race shoes. But this is a shoe that I would definitely consider. It's definitely got the comfort and the turnover and the quickness, the responsiveness, and the weight, where you could run a 5K, 10K no problem in a shoe like this. So definitely its versatility, and you can also do slower paces too. That's the other thing, is I've been able to run, you know, slower, easy efforts in this shoe, and definitely some faster efforts, some intervals and stuff like that in this shoe. And it's performed really well at all of them. So that's one of my favorite things about the shoe. The second thing is the upper. I got into that earlier. The upper is super comfortable. It's light, it's pretty breathable, but it's just comfort. It locks you down so well. It doesn't feel intrusive at all. It just holds your foot in place. And then this Achilles heel flare right here is just so super comfortable. It's like I said, it's like laying on a nice, or sitting on a nice couch. You know, you just feels so super comfortable back here. I love that part of the shoe. But the things that I dislike about this shoe, the first and foremost, is the durability of this shoe. And this is something that I've always had a problem with Hoka shoes. It's why I don't tend to run in Hoka shoes too much, is because to me, the value isn't there. We'll get into that also here in a second. But they don't tend to last very long. Now, my first pair of Hoka shoes was a pair of Hoka Clifton 6s. that actually got me through my first half marathon that I ever did. And the downside of it was it really didn't last that long. I got about 60, 70 miles, a lot of long runs in it, but it just didn't feel like it had that cushion, that give, that whatever that it had at the beginning. And that's a problem that I've had with Hokas in the past. Now, the comfort underneath the foot, I think in this one's going to hold up very well, but it's the outsole durability that is going to hold this thing up. The other part of this outsole, and again, I kind of focus a little bit more on the outsole here, because there's no rubber on here, there's also an issue with traction in some very slick conditions. So areas like, say, there's a freshly paved or sealed car park or parking lot, that tends to be very slick. And I've noticed that I don't feel very confident on my feet running through those areas in this shoe. It just doesn't have that grip like I would want from a running shoe in order to go through those type of areas. So you have to kind of be mindful of where you're running. The other thing is again, because this shoe is basically built for road running, the grip and whatever that's down here, it's not really made for any type of gravelly areas, light gravel trails or anything. This is specific to a road running shoe. And the third part that I don't like about this shoe is the price point. The initial price point of the shoe is $140. I think the Mach 5 is $145 or something like that. Maybe $150 now. But the thing that I just kind of, I don't know, I dislike about that is at $140, even though this shoe is light and it's snappy and it kind of is super versatile and has a comfortable upper, I can think of a lot of other shoes out there that I would rather own to do almost the same thing that this can do. Maybe a little bit heavier, but you're also increasing its durability. So like the Asics Nova Blast 3, I would kind of aim for at the same price point. The Nike Pegasus 39, which is pretty much a do-it-all daily trainer shoe, just a go-to daily trainer at $130. I would rather do the Nike Pegasus, the Saucony Ride 15, which is actually pretty responsive because that Power Run midsole foam has a pretty good turnover, a little bit of a rocker design, but it has strategically placed rubber underneath the bottom. And also in that Ride 15, which I have like nearly 100, I think I might actually have over 100 miles in them now. But in the Ride 15s, they also, like, the exposed midsole foam is not degrading like this does. So I think there's like other shoes out there, and again, that's $140 as well. So I think there's other shoes out there that I would rather kind of pick for the same money as this. But if you can get this on a discount, which is what I got it for, which is well under $100 for this shoe, I think it was 88 or something like that. And one of the places I went through also gave me an additional discount code, so I got even more off of that. Then at that point, it's kind of worth it because I really don't see the shoe having longevity after that. It typically seems like about 250, 300 miles is what most people are getting out of this shoe. And to me, that's just, the value isn't there when you consider you can get, out of a Nova Blast or out of a Saucony Ride 15, you could probably get 500 miles out of those for the same price or less. Same with the Pegasus. That is just a tried and true workhorse type of shoe. Or even, dare I say it, $120. The Puma Velocity Nitro 2 is a fantastic shoe for the money at $120. So just don't see the value in this shoe. It's a fantastic shoe. It fits well. It does everything right, but I just think its durability is what holds it back. So again, if you can pick it up on discount, it's a really good shoe, but full price, I gotta say no to it. So that's kind of it for this video, guys. I appreciate all of you watching out there on YouTube. And again, if you haven't done so already, please click that subscribe button. Give this video a big thumbs up. If you enjoyed it, found this informative, think it's going to work well for you, go ahead and pick them up. If not, there are other shoes out there. So especially this time of year, there's a lot that are going on sale. So check out those sales and never pay full price for running shoes. Have a safe run, guys. See you later.